Xing screens so I can be able to play. There are three of them. Start from somewhere, you gotta download the game. Install it up.
on the hunt for an uber-talented entrepreneur to run my next Chicken Guy franchise.
How hungry are you to win this?
This is the biggest, baddest, most challenging job interview you've ever had.
Series premiere, Guy's Chance of a Lifetime, tonight at 9 on Food Network.
What's good, everybody? My name is Steve. Welcome to a new video on this channel. Today we hop again in the Blankos world. You know the vibes, you know the feeling in this game. Today, like I said, we hop again in the world of Blankos. As you can see, I got my atom skin. Like I said, I mashed it up in a black colorway. I think it just looks great, it looks different, and because of that I like it. Now, today we got a couple of daily challenges to make, and as well I want to go to the shelf and change something really quick. Blanko, I don't have a jetpack right now, so we need to change that. If we can make it, yeah. Now we can put this jetpack on him, and then we can play mainly with him, if you feel me. Because I wanted to do that, and sometimes I just needed to play with the
Hey, good day, citizens. It's 12:20. Hey, good day, citizens. It's 12:20, 2021. It is 9:59 p.m. and I am standing outside the Playboy Winter event in Decentraland, and I'm going to show you how to do this event. Or if you were wondering how this the event took place here. There was a timer outside. Nobody could get in except for Last Slice members until about 5 p.m. Pacific time. But after that, you could come to the door. Now, sometimes it would throw you out, but usually you could get in. And now that we're inside here, you can see the Christmas tree. They got some Playboy memorabilia on the wall here. I'll go by real fast. That way I don't trigger no flags for the YouTube algorithm, right? You got the Christmas tree. What you would want to do is you'd want to come up here, you want to click the naughty list, you'd sign the naughty list here, and it said signed, right? It would let you know you signed it. You could then click out, and you can see here they have two wearables you can get. You can get this sweater, and you could get this hat. They also have a PO-op. To get the PO-op, you would click these fishing poles. I'm going to first person. To do that, you press V. You click the fishing pole, and it would pull up magazines. It would say that's right. Then you could run to the other side, and you could do the same thing. And eventually, what I found was after you get the magazines up here, just run out of there. You didn't get the PO-op yet, but just run out of there and then come out here. And what I would do is I would hit this lever right here on the outside and make it snow. And we're going to go ahead and exit first person. We're going to hit the switch again, and eventually it's kind of glitchy, but now you can see that it's snowing, right? You see the snow effect. Then you could come back in here. Now this is what I've found to work. It's not 100% for everybody, but it's what worked for me. And you could fish again. And then after like 1 or 2 times the fishing rod, you would actually get the, see where it says PO-op finished? I already have the PO-op, but you see how the box popped up? You would then click the box, and you would get the PO-op. And because I actually already have it, we'll go here. This is PO-op app. This is what the PO-op would look like. So it's cool. It has the Rabbitars. Those are what the Playboy NFTs. Everybody who had a Rabbitar got this pink Playboy jacket for some drip. So after you got the PO-op, you made it snow. There's 2 other things that you can do inside here. You would run up this stairway here, and we got Cat 5 playing his good music. He's laying down some slappers. You see this mistletoe up here on this ramp? You could come up here, and then all you had to do was hit B, and blow a kiss. And if you didn't have it done yet, or since I already have this done, it's not going to do it for me. But you would blow a kiss underneath the mistletoe, and it would pop up a black thing saying complete. Now here's the dance floor. We got a couple people here. Got Mario. I don't really know him. I really don't know none of these people. They look like a lot of number names. Paladin, I know. Paladin was one of the first people that I met inside Decentraland. And these two people, I believe, are both Last Slice holders. Last Slice is the people who designed this. And then we got Cat 5 playing, who is a bored ape. A bored... yeah, the bored ape. And he's always jamming out. He gets hired a lot. Then you got this VIP area back here. And the only way you could get
Before
in
exporting
past
to the
this
marketplace,
VIP
it is important to make sure that the asset is compatible with the Game Maker guidelines. Make sure it is facing forward with the white arrow. Models should have their pivot point positioned at the bottom center, unless you want the object to go down inside the floor where it is placed, like a lily pad on the surface of water. Animated assets should face forward on every animation, and be positioned centered on the top floor of the grid, just like static models. Fox Edit is capable of making very detailed models that do not optimize well for game development. For now, it is recommended to keep the face count of an asset under 5,000 quads or 10,000 tris, which can be measured in the animator. The artist guidelines linked at the top of the welcome screen give more details on how to create for the Game Maker. To upload to the marketplace, first make sure that you're logged into your Sandbox account in your default browser. If your asset is animated, play the animation you'd like shown, and pause on the best frame for making the thumbnail.
At the top, there's a Playboy bunny that you would click, and that would get you the other piece of the wearable. Now, those wearables, once you complete these events, will not drop.
From the File menu,
24
go to the
hours.
Export submenu and click Export to Marketplace. You will be asked to select the angle that best displays your asset. Usually this is pointing downward to the left or right. For animated models, select which animation will be displayed by default. Click Export, and a new browser tab will open after the asset has finished processing. Larger models might take a minute. The Marketplace tab will ask if you're making a new asset or replacing one that needed corrections. A 3D view of your artwork will appear in the dashboard. You can preview the animations to make sure everything looks correct. Set the name and description that best describes your creation. Click Continue to go to the asset's behavior settings. Choose the asset's default behavior when it's added to a game. If it's a purely decorative asset, just select None. The Catalyst setting controls the rarity and power of an asset. Common assets have a quantity of 200 copies in the marketplace, while Legendary only have 1. The number of gem sockets is also set by the Catalyst, with Legendary being able to hold any 4 gems for super powerful assets.
Press V and angle off. That's how I do it. That way I get in a straight
Add gems
line.
to your item sockets
That's how I
or skip
start,
them for
and then I
simple
angle
decorations
down,
without
so I
behaviors.
kinda like keep my eyes on
The last step is to select up to 3 categories and a theme that will help people find your asset. These tags are used for organizing the marketplace when people sort their search results.
You know what I'm saying?
Click Continue to go to the final review screen.
So it's pretty neat. It's pretty
From here,
forgiving.
you can use your browser's
This
back
isn't
button to go to a
too
previous
extreme
page
compared to
and make
a lot of
any
stuff
changes you
that's
need.
actually in Decentraland. All
Don't
20
click the Send
radio
for Approval button yet.
has a hell of a
Your
lot
asset
of
is already saved to your
people
account,
some
and you can
crazy
test it in
stuff.
the Game
There's
Maker.
people who make videos on it and make
Log in using the same
a lot
credentials as the
easier for
marketplace, and you can now find your creation in the asset library while editing a land.
We'll let this go around one more time. There we go.
If you've uploaded a block, you can set a transparency level and whether the block is a
I
fluid.
don't know which way it's gonna go next.
Fluids will automatically have a scrolling animation and allow characters to
Little bit
pass
of
through them
time,
like
you know what I
water.
mean?
Click Continue to set the block theme.
Oh, got
Then
clipped
continue
there.
again
Almost
and
done.
save on the review
Well,
screen
we're
to
pretty
access
much
the
right
block
here
in the
at
Game
end.
Maker for testing.
So we go here.
If you need to
and the
make
next
changes
one
to your
when we're
asset,
done,
you can make corrections in Vox Edit, then
and
export
let's
to
see
the
if we can
marketplace
make it.
again.
We'll,
This
get
time,
on the
click
same
Replace
like I
Asset,
said. That's how you
and
can
select
kinda
the one
see-
you've fixed from
get
the
this little
drop-down
close.
list.
We're gonna angle off here, and we're almost there.
Once you're happy with the way that the asset works in the Game Maker, you can find it from your unpublished inventory in the Marketplace's Me tab. Click
So
for
you're on
approval.
this one, and then
This will
this
add your
one.
asset to the
And
minting
once you
queue.
make it to the top, all you have to do is click the rabbit, and because I already have it, it's going to say error. But if you didn't have it, then you would get it. Then you can just jump back down and get back to the party. And that's it. That's pretty much the event. You could chill in here. You can dance with your friends. Once you do the mistletoe thing, you You know what I mean? You're chilling with everybody and jamming out to Cat 5. And that's the event, folks. Hope you enjoyed this. If you didn't make the Playboy event, if you don't know what Playboy is, they're
The DQ chicken strip basket and the pastry style chicken bites basket means you've got chicken choices. Because sometimes you want crispy, and sometimes you want unbreaded, or you thought you wanted. Either way, you always win. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
Fabian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jesper.
It's a fun topic. Spirituality accelerated. Fabian, you found the channel through No Limit Society, is that right?
No, I've been watching you for quite a while, actually. I think the first video was with Frankie Yang. Yeah, I think
Cool.
that's how I...
Like back in February or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool. Nice. And then when did you join No Limit Society?
I initially joined the meditation mastery retreat, and yeah, then just rode the wave of the 3 months, and now I'm hooked.
That's so great. Nice. Cool. Initially, we were going to talk about XRP, and eventually we probably will a little bit more on the show. And today we might actually touch on it regarding how the decentralized architectures are actually accelerating the inner journey. But let's talk about you specifically, because you're 20.
Yeah.
And you're already tuned into the vibe of awakening. How did that happen?
Like, for me, it started because of a great catalyst, I would say. Like, in my youth, I was pretty anxious and just didn't feel that great, and I wasn't accepting myself, and because of that, I just searched for a way out, you could say. And initially, I got into fitness and working out and reading a ton of books and, you could say, building my intellect to be really streamlined. And then I had this intellectual identity, and that was already like a great shift of, okay, now I'm great, I'm worthy. And then also COVID was a huge catalyst for me. Like, it just pushed me down again, because all the structures I built, they're just destroyed like in one swipe. And I was basically like at the bottom again, you could say. And then also a big part of psychedelics in my journey. So I had a mystical experience, you could say. And then I was like, oh, I realized I'm conscious. And it was like this huge revelation, because somehow I managed to overlook this my whole life.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I just, oh, wait a second, I'm conscious. And I never thought about this before. How can I have this knowledge without thinking about this prior? Then I got into philosophy and already touched a bit about spirituality. I with Sadhguru and other, you could say, more surface, like teachers. And like the biggest event for me was actually this year. And I was walking outside in the middle of the night, and it began snowing. And I'm living like, it's not really the city, it's more like the transition from city to village. And somehow there appeared messages written in the snow on like the roof of cars. And it were my thoughts. and in different languages.
Craft, which he played obsessively for years. That wasn't until the game's developer Blizzard decided to nerf his character one day. Vitalik had been working to get level 60 for years and literally cried himself to sleep that night, being inconsolable for days. It was this event that birthed Vitalik's hatred for centralized networks. So when his dad introduced him to Bitcoin, he naturally fell in love, eventually noticing an opportunity to build something better in 2014 and winning the 100,000 Teal Fellowship to launch it. Today, Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency in the world. Vitalik is worth over $1 billion, but the 27-year-old is far from retired. He's busy working on Ethereum 2.0. It's an update that will reduce the network's carbon emissions and greatly expand its capacity, which is why the world's second largest cryptocurrency was inspired by a video game. As a teenager, Ethereum creator Vitalik Buterin treated gaming like a religion. His favorite title, World of Warcraft, which he played obsessively for years. That wasn't until the game's developer Blizzard decided to nerf his character one day. Vitalik had been working to get level 60 for years and literally cried himself to sleep that night, being inconsolable for days. It was this event that birthed Vitalik's hatred for centralized networks. So when his dad introduced him to Bitcoin, he naturally fell in love, eventually noticing an opportunity to build something better in 2014 and winning the 100,000 Teal Fellowship to launch it. Today, Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency in the world. Vitalik is worth over $1 billion, but the 27-year-old is far from retired. He's busy working on Ethereum 2.0. It's an update that will reduce the network.
Being limited, and so they might wonder, well, how to liberate myself from the contracted feelings of what feels like the matrix controls it.
Vous êtes combien dans votre groupe Discord de la formation? On est dans le groupe Discord, on est à peu près 430 membres, quelque chose comme ça. C'est quoi ta chaîne YouTube? NFT Surf, comme Instagram, sur tous les réseaux.
Because I don't believe in any of the matrix control structures. I pursue decentralization, I pursue abundance, I live and imagine and do that.
Bon, t'es bien là. Tu es où? Je suis au Panama.
That's what
And you can also see, like, with us, a huge,
Merci pour toi. Merci pour ton avis sur Anil Moon. Qu'est-ce qui va pas dans l'équipe derrière selon toi? Leur marketing et les influenceurs qu'ils ont choisis pour promouvoir le projet. Quelle vue? C'est où? C'est au Panama, en Amérique latine. Peut-on investir rapidement si on débute la formation maintenant? Ouais, bien sûr. Aujourd'hui, je te montre comment j'ai fait gagner plusieurs milliers d'euros à tous mes abonnés. Il y a quelques semaines, je partageais ce projet NFT à ma communauté privée. Et un des membres a pu faire plus de 15 000 $ de bénéfices en quelques jours seulement. Faut savoir que les NFT de la collection se revendent aujourd'hui pour 2,15 Ethereum, ce qui fait un peu plus de 8 000 $. Et c'est pas tout, car il n'est pas le seul à avoir gagné autant d'argent. Voici un autre abonné qui a lui fait plus de 7 700 $ de profit. Un autre qui a pu revendre son NFT 2,6 Ethereum alors qu'il avait acheté 0,25. Et 7 000 € de bénéfices en plus pour ce membre de la communauté. Celui-ci a fait plus de 6 600 € de bénéfices en 1 heure seulement. Et pour finir, ce dernier abonné a pu revendre lui pour 1,30 Ethereum. Alors si ça t'intéresse de nous rejoindre et venir encaisser avec nous, abonne-toi et contacte-moi en message privé. Aujourd'hui,
knowledge inhibited or restricted. Yeah. So that's the priority, is self-knowledge.
Things from Amazon that
Self-knowledge.
Things-
Of everything else. And how much joy and peace that brings.
Yeah, as you said, like, happiness is the #1 priority. For whatever you think you want, like, being happy, being peaceful, being joyful is always the underlying principle. And
we're a basement. I know. I have like no connection to
Thank you. Thank you much. Y'all juiced up. Y'all juiced up. I'm not a good vibes only type of nigga. I'm an all vibes only type of nigga. Hey, I accept all vibes, not just good vibes only. I may not come in silence, whatever you can hold it. What is not really all no sedatives,
like nobody knows. That's also what the future is like. Everyone is going to draw like if you really look at nobody has nobody has like, how is this possible? How can I be this open? How can I speak this freely? How can I be, like, on this podcast? I'm super excited to be here. And it's all possible. If you believe it, if you follow your resonance, if you go, if you do it, then sky's the limit.
Okay, so following what resonates, whatever it is.
Telepathic communications like a satellite.
The Galactic Gang project, it's a NFT profile picture series that is made of a combination of my drawings, drawing different attributes. Like it's like a randomized algorithm code that then shuffles up the pieces and creates new beings.
This is the highest heights, balance all chakras with the blue kyanite. Explosive kind of light, we blew the dynamite. I annihilate beings like selenite. Crown chakra, third eye sight with tanzanite. Minnesota pipestone, chief pastor pipe at peace. We communicate easy with azurite. Smoking THC crystals, get stoned on edibles. Collecting all types of gemstones and minerals. Green is all I need eventually.
How it's like, how they can change their life. And also in my past I have been not that grounded, you could say, and not that streamlined of, okay, how can I communicate this? And also coming a lot from, okay, I need validation for like my metaphysical truth. So I don't know how they perceive it, but I see a lot of suffering. I see a lot of potential. I also see a lot of open-mindedness and interest in topics that are not that well accepted. So it's an exciting time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like how you talked about open-mindedness being a huge key. Mm-hmm. I like how you talked about seeing through the need to be seen. That's very important. Liberating oneself of that trap of wanting to be seen. Mm-hmm. Nice. Mm-hmm.
Also what's coming up, like being an example, or even talking to guys like you who have been on this journey, and like it's like a download. If I talk to someone one-on-one, and it's like he's deconstructing my mind. Especially in No Limit Society, I have had a lot of times when I was talking like in one-on-one calls, like the acceleration is huge, because they have been on the journey as well for sometimes even centuries. And even the talking to them is like straight knowledge in my brain. Like it's 1 hour full of content, like and learning from 10 years. It's just amazing. And there are so many possibilities to do this. For example, NLS. If you join NLS and you're serious about this, there are a lot of people who are willing to help you. There's a session that continue every week. You can ask questions. So that's also a big one that's coming in the next month.
Hey, so you feel like you found a pretty strong spiritual community with No Limit Society?
Yeah. From my humble opinion, it's probably the most like holistic and all-encompassing community currently available on Earth, at least with the information I have gathered. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, like really.
Hello Voxelnauts. I'm excited to be updating my whole series of videos on VoxEdit now that it has moved from alpha into beta. If you've already watched my tutorials for the VoxEdit alpha, these new videos will cover much of the same material, so jump over to this video highlighting the new beta features. So what is VoxEdit? It is a 3D modeling and animation program designed to create assets for the Sandbox, a gaming platform where people can create, sell, and buy game assets, develop and play games, and invest in the blockchain-powered Metaverse. For over a year, I've been working as an artist in the Sandbox Creator Fund, and now I'm manager of all the artists in that program, and part of the experience development for our partners like Shaun the Sheep and Atari. The Sandbox is a whole lot of things to talk about outside the scope of this particular video, so be sure to subscribe if you're interested in learning more, and check out the links in the description. VoxEdit creates 3D models by using cubes called voxels. Many people like to think of voxel art as 3D pixel art. There are other voxel modeling programs, but what makes VoxEdit special is its ability to create rigs with multiple animations. It is totally free to use VoxEdit, and you can use it for any project you want, both personal or commercial. Whether you're making something to render with Blender, or creating character animations for a game in Unity, VoxEdit can export to several common formats. Learn more about exporting and importing files to VoxEdit in the video linked here. To install VoxEdit, visit sandbox.game, click on the Create tab, then select the Download for Windows or Mac OS. You must have a 64-bit system to use VoxEdit, and it's recommended to update your GPU drivers, especially if you have an AMD card. You no longer need to download or update Java, because the needed files are bundled inside. On PC, simply unzip the folder and put the program where you want it. You can run the install.bat file to add an icon to the save files. You will likely get warnings from Windows, to which you can click More Info and run anyway. You no longer need to download or update Java, because the needed files are bundled inside. On PC, simply unzip the folder and put the program where you want it. You can run the install.bat file to add an icon to the save files. You will likely get warnings from Windows, to which you can click More Info and run anyway. On Mac, run the installer package. Lately, Apple has become more strict on third-party apps, so you may need to open the security settings in System Preferences and give permission for the program to run. If you're stuck at any point, visit the official Sandbox Discord server linked in the description, where we have a channel. If you're stuck at any point, visit the official Sandbox Discord server linked. Lately, Apple has become more strict on third-party apps, so you may need to open the security settings in System Preferences and give permission for the program to run. If you're stuck at any point, visit the official Sandbox Discord server linked in the description, where we have a channel specifically for helping with VoxEdit. Now that we're in the program, we can see there are several tabs along the left side. The News tab has several links and can display an alert if a new update is ready to download. The Guidelines for Artists is a helpful document that explains how to make artwork designed to work with most experiences in the Sandbox. Marketplace will take you to the Sandbox shop, which should be opening for anyone to buy and sell models later in 2020. GameMaker will take you to more info about that upcoming release and a pre-registration page. The Modeler tab is where we can start building. You can create a new asset, browse to open, or select a recent file.
That's great. So
Open File can select a Magicavoxel.vox file and convert it to voxedits.vxm format. The Modeler has a toolbar on the left side for building objects, a menu across the top with the different functions, material settings and color palette on the right, and tooltips at the bottom. In the middle is the workspace with the program version number. Left-click on the grid or existing voxels to use your selected tool. Controlling the camera no longer uses the Alt key. Right-clicking rotates the camera, either around the center of the object or around whatever voxel your mouse is hovering over. Middle-click will pan the camera, and your mouse scroll wheel will zoom in and out. Clicking on the home button will return us to the welcome screen. From the Animator tab, we can see there is also a list of templates available. These figures are built specifically to work in the Game Maker. Clicking on one will prompt you to create a new project folder. An animated project should have its own unique folder to prevent conflicts. Template mode in the Animator allows you to see the skeleton structure, play the animations, and edit the models. Clicking the pencil icon will open a VXM in the modeler, and clicking the home button will return you to the Animator. The full Animator mode is available when creating a new rig file. After you've created your skeleton and attached the objects, you can use the timeline and inspector panel to create animation keyframes. Terrain in the Sandbox is made with 1 meter blocks, which are 32 by 32 pixels on each side. The block editor is for drawing textures on these blocks and has a layout similar to the modeler. For the modeler, template mode, animator, and block editor, tutorials are available in the VoxEdit playlist right now. Go check them out from the card at the end of
as God or source. And so that seems to be, again, at the very top of...
We'll continue next with the same. Either way you ask for questions. I mean, the best way will be always me to teach someone something, I guess, because I have no idea what you understand and what you don't. Anyway, or maybe I will just work on some project for me. I don't know. I will see. I could always return on avatars instead of words. Maybe it's quite too complicated. But since I've started to see people doing words by themselves, I think all this makes a little sense now. I hope it will make more soon. Anyway, thank you a lot for watching. Sorry if it gets some boring sometime. I'm still trying to figure the best way of teaching stuff and best stuff to be teach, because sometimes it's maybe just too complicated for general knowledge.
Yeah, like this one is,
and
because
thank you for supporting and telling me when I made mistake, like being super big in front of the screen.
Like for example, if you
anyway, I don't think I have anything ready to share to this week. Anyway, thank you very much, and see you next week.
And for example, my journey has been consciously for like 10 months. And the growth and the knowledge that has been gained in this short amount of time is just mind-blowing. So it's also an important part to build up this layer, to gain catalyst, and to have the chance to grow, spiritually speaking.
Yeah, it's an important point that all of the layers of conditions and separation actually are generative of catalysts that then are our school. And so without the buildup of conditions, then there are less spiritual catalysts, but there still are, at least in the sense of the actualization of the potential, not necessarily the dissolving or deconstructing of identity. So there's a different style of expression of the one. So it's like the empowerment expression of the one, let's say. So the enlightenment expression only has to happen if the onion layers are even built up, then they have to be deconstructed. But the empowerment, the fireworking, the creativity, there's still going to be catalysts there. You'll still you'll still have all different types of situations that along that, the actual
audio testing.
A unique gift that you're blueprinted for
audio test.
that will come up.
Good.
Like
audio testing.
even though you might know yourself as infinity, when you have to do taxes, you might get a little upset, and that'll be a great catalyst. Is your level of frustration with your taxes. So.
It's really interesting to talk about this kind of evolution, because I think taxes are just here in third density, and like in fourth density, I can't imagine that we have to do taxes or something like that. And it's just relevant because we built up this egoic layers of the onion, and because we haven't been actualizing our full potential as a collective. If we would have been like fully actualized, there would be abundance all over the earth, and nobody would have a problem of this kind.
Yep. So, probably a good time to talk about how internal and exterior just mirror each other, and how they feed back into each other. So all of the past couple centuries on the centralization of the money supply, energy, have created more of a separation. But now we're going through a decentralization of all of that. So as we wake up, we deconstruct ourselves, that's mirrored in what we build, because we're not building from a place of separation, but from a place of wholeness. Also, as we experience more decentralized architectures, that also feeds back into our consciousness waking up.
Yeah. Have you seen Hennessy? No.
So talk about that, and then talk about
Hi, sorry, I forgot to enable my microphone. So, good morning everyone. Good morning for me. So it's Deniro with Creator Sunday today. I forgot to enable. I forgot my one. So someone asked what was the stream. So I'm Deniro, a community member of Chamium Space, and every Sunday I show you interesting stuff to know about making and uploading art 3D parts for your Chamium for your 7 experience. So sometimes I work on building part that you can upload on your parcel. I work on avatars that you can upload to wear it on Chamium Space. Today I will do something a little shorter. I will be here 1 hour, and I will work on some basic stuff that you don't necessarily know that can help you having a better experience for creation. For example, the settings to upload from Blender, and a little small parts that make your quality higher. So I will just open my default scene. I will start with Blender. Okay, so pay attention. Those are very interesting information. Sorry. Okay, so good. Okay, so the sound is good. So from Blender, there is 2 different things you could upload that have different uploading settings. Those 2 parts are, you have the, we call it SDK item. SDK item is an object, for example this cube, that we will upload to Chamium Space parcel, and we will show it on your parcel. So they are static objects that we can add some simple animation, then we can create custom visual. Those objects can be up to 15,000 polygons. Oh, for the person that just joined us, today I will show some basics about Chamium Space SDK object for uploading. So be careful, be attentive. I will talk to you about important information, because sometimes there is little parameters that we don't know that can help you a lot, like for example all those scaling issues. You bring something to Summon Space and you need this already, and it's like scale 100 and it make everything harder. So I will start on Blender. I was explaining that there's two things you have to know. First thing is the SDK item. Those are items that you upload to the parcel, like a chair, a house, a plant. Those one I could call it static item. So for here I will make something random, and it will be our static item. I will add a texture just to make it more realistic. For example, let's do that. Okay, just to say something.
Okay, I don't have to worry, right?
My tests are not the best, but a little like this.
And now I can
I want to texture it after to be a little more close to the reality.
I have enough now, there's enough sun to survive.
Oh my god, it's art. I should sell this one eat.
The most important thing for
G, C, S. Oh, let's rotate. Like this. Beautiful flower, right? And let's do that. Let's select all the bottom mesh and smooth. F3. It's very fast, so it's just for the exercise of having something. Smooth vertices, Shift R, repeat. I press A to select everything, Alt N, merge, Alt N, average con angle. Okay, so we have this. Oh, a little thing that you could very like. If you don't remember what is normals in Blender, I will show you. Normals is a concept very important to understand how the light affect the surface. I will explain it as many times I need because normals are very important to understand. So look at this ball. I can understand that it's realistic because all shapes are square, so it's normal that I see the line like this. You understand? Because I try to be closer as possible as the real shape. But what if I want to approximate a sphere? In this way I would like to be more smooth. So the normal right now are not smooth. They are let's say they are sharp, because you see like there is a sharp separation between the space. To create sharp normal, you go in edit mode with tab, Alt N, and of course you select everything, Alt N, split. It was already split, but now it's more clear because everything is blue. So when your normals are the line that say how the face are affected by the light, called normals, they show that each face is representative of the real shape. So the other option is to do Alt N merge. So mathematically I won't explain how it works, but you see that each dot have now one purple line because all the normals are merged together. So this technique is to simulate a smooth surface. So you have two options. Either way, you are close to the real shape, so do you see the square, or you simulate a smooth shape. So the normal are merged. Merge is to merge the normal together and simulate a smooth surface. Split, Alt N, is to simulate the closer to the real geometry. So again, that's for the normals. So this shape, I would like to have both in fact. I will just smooth it a little, so Alt N, sorry, F3, smooth vertices. Wrong button. F3, smooth vertices. Oh. Yeah, I will let it like this. So if I want both, some parts are smooth, like right now everything is smooth, you see? It's not representative of the real shape. So I can do something. I can go in edge mode here, edge select, select sharp edge. This technique will select every edge that the algorithm think are sharp. So if the angle between two faces is more than 30 degrees, it will say, hey, this is probably a sharp edge. And if the angles between the two faces is too low, it will say, oh, this is a smooth. So let's see what happens if I have this selection, Alt-N, split. So now you have some parts that are smooth, some parts that are sharp. It's automatically calculated. It's maybe not the perfect example, but you can see at least, you see this. Normally I will see the polygons, but now it thinks it's smooth. So yeah. This is for normals. Now let's export this. No, I will add a texture first. Sorry for that. So the easiest way to do texture will be to use. First of all, sorry, I go too fast. I was in layout. I go on UV editing. I have this object that I create. To paint it, I will need a UV map. The UV map is the version of this unwrapped, like, you know, like a paper. You know, when you have a paper plane, if you unwrap it, it becomes just a sheet. So the same way for a 3D object, I want to unwrap it to make a 2D version, that where the texture will be. So I start from a cube, so the unwrap is not right now. So what I will do is I select everything with A on the 3D window, UV, Smart UV project. This is the lazy technique, but it worked great. So it's not super efficient. You can let the parameters by default, maybe a little margin. So with the margin you have distance between the piece. So this technique is lazy, but it worked quite well. Oh, there's a problem here, you see. When you change color, it means that two triangles are in the same space. It's not right. So I will just change the angle. Maybe I can prevent that. Yeah, it's not perfect. I will move it manually. So I can select like this. Good.
Which I already do in my ledger.
Normally you don't have to correct it. I'm surprised it didn't work. Okay, so this is the lazy unwrapping. A lot of waste of space for the pixels. All those wastings, you know, you want to use the more texture possible. Because if you lose space, you will need a bigger texture to have the same details. For example, instead of 2K, we'll maybe need a 4K texture. So let's do very simple things. Sorry, I forgot to remove my application. Okay, texture. I'm on Blender. I usually do the basic on Blender. I want to do the more on Unity. So texture, I will go on base color, click on the little round here. Texture, image texture, new, 1024 will be enough. Texture, don't need alpha, never need. Yeah, that's it. So if I go on the UV here, I can select the texture. If I go in edit mode, so you have the unwrap here, you have the texture behind it, and if I paint the texture, I go on image editor. I'm going fast because all this is just me repeating myself. I think it's very important. I will repeat it as many times as possible because it's basic and too much people don't know about this, and now you have to master. There's things you need to master and not just to know. So let's paint. I went to image editor, view. There's two drop down here. This one have to be paint. So I want, okay, now here I went to view port shading. So yeah, very ugly painting. I can go paint here too. Never be afraid to ask on the Discord if you want help. Okay, so I will save the image here. Forgot to have a place to save it.
From there,
I guess it will be desktop. Okay. Good. Now we will export. Okay. File. Export. FBX. And I will go on my. Oh, I need to know where to export it. So, on Unity, model folder. Usually we put everything here. I think I have. Is there SDK presentation? No. I will create a folder called.
Will be a different style of coin.
Sunday stream.
So I'll be able to
right click.
To frictionlessly see my wallet.
Show in Explorer.
My
I copy the path. I love to work like this. It's easier. Pass the path.
The total amounts of
now I'm in.
And also
there is the present. No. Sunday stream. Okay, this part is important. I have a mesh, a static mesh. So to export a static mesh, I have a preset. I will show you. Summon mesh. So select object. I just output type. I just put mesh since I cannot have a camera, an armature, or other in Unity. I could check lamp, but lamp I prefer to do it in Unity. So just mesh. And scale, I put 1, apply scaling, FBX unit scale, forward, Z forward, minus Z, sorry, Y up. Okay, important part, apply unit, apply transform. Apply transform is unchecked by default. This is very important. For static mesh, we apply transform, but not for avatars. Very important. For avatars, we do it differently. So with this configuration, you you can export static mesh on Unity, and you will not have rotation and no scaling. So the rotation of your object will be 0, 0, 0, and the scaling 1, 1, 1. That's what we want, because sometimes it can create problems. And it's easier to always work in the same scaling and rotation. Okay, so back animation, you can uncheck if you want, because with builder item or static item, you cannot have bounds. So animation won't work anyway. But if you just, let me be clear. With builder item, things that you can put on your parcel, you can move object, you can scale object and rotate. But you cannot apply blend shape, you cannot apply bounds animation. This is not allowed for now. This is just for avatars, so don't really need to bake animation. It makes the file smaller. I don't think armature anyway we cannot have, so geometry. I think it's by default, so let it like this. Okay, so test static builder item or SDK item. We have to find out. Normal name export. Okay, I forgot something. If you want to export the texture right now with inside or outside the FBX, let me show you how. So I have this object and I have like 10 texture. I don't want to export each texture at one at a time. Image save as, it's image save a copy, sorry, when you want to export the texture. Or you should go on the folder and you drag and drop every texture. You don't even remember which texture you use. So the technique is file, export, it's selected, export, FBX, and this is here, path mode. I go on copy. Path mode copy means if you have a texture or other object that is linked to your Blender file, let's just say texture for now, it will copy the files. So you have two options. If I just do copy, the texture will be inside the FBX. If I click here, embedded texture, okay, sorry, it's a reverse. When you just do copy, it will create a folder. You will understand. So again, the static builder item, I put copy. For me, I have to refresh the folder with Control R. So look, now the texture is exported here, very useful, because when I will extract material here, click on the object, extract material, I just do extract, and I put the material on the object. So this it already detects the texture automatically. Oh, sorry, it's not the good. I drag and drop here. You see, the texture is already there. It's ugly. I'm sorry. So This is a good way. If you have 10 texture, 10 material, everything will be linked probably automatically. So this is a good way. Second way to do it. File, export, FBX, copy, and you click here, embed texture. This will put the texture inside the FBX file. It's very interesting to send. Because, for example, I have friends that send me a FBX and then 10 texture in Discord. I'm like, are you serious? That's a pain. I have to save as, I have to move. So you can do either way, the folder or the... personally, I prefer the folder. But you can do pack, embed texture. Sorry, not pack, embed texture here. Export FBX, I go here, I can delete the folder to prove it work. Control R for me. Somehow, oh yes. I already extract material, but I can extract texture. So it extracted texture. So it did not work immediately because normally we extract the texture first. Somehow it, oh yeah, I have to reset that. Sorry. Import materials, apply. It doesn't like to extract the materials twice somehow, so I will just re-export again. FBX. This is check. Control R. Okay, so extract materials. The texture is already there. Extract materials after extracting textures. So you see, same things, but the texture was inside the FBX. So you see, I prefer having the folder.
This is exactly what this collector seeks.
But you can always create a folder for texture, another for material, and if you do, okay, listen, very important thing to know about Unity. If I create a folder,
so it's going to come from two places,
and I move the texture inside Unity, Unity will understand that you move this texture and it will update every reference to the texture. You see, the texture is still there. But if you do this in Windows, if inside Windows you move the texture, it won't understand that you move it. It thinks it disappears normally. Let's see if it works. You see, texture is there, but it cannot find it because I move it outside from Unity. So now is like all lost. You don't know where the texture is. I just do Control Z on Windows. That doesn't always work. So always move. This is the same for moving files, renaming files, renaming folders. Always rename and move files inside Unity. This way you know the reference will be kept. Keep folder. Look, material. Move the material. It's still working. I could do. I love to do that. I do a folder. I call it data. Here I configure my item, builder item config. I add the mesh collider. This is a nice object. Now I can save all this configuration. Drag and drop here. Original prefab. So when I send something to someone, I do that. I put everything in data and I just keep the prefab. So when the person opens the folder, they understand this is the object, that's it. The rest you don't have to play with it. It's data. So I can delete this. You see, everything is still working because I did it inside Unity. This is very important. Let's see, there's other people asking questions. No. Okay, so that is for static mesh. Now, how do you do for avatars? The step is different. I will delete that. Oh yeah, I will just transform it as an avatar.
24/7.
Okay, warning. This is a very fast avatar, so it may be disgusting.
Being promulgated on the internet across.
So I will go in symmetry on X. I will go in X-ray. Mesh. Sorry. Vertex select. I select all the vertex, delete vertex. Okay, now I have only one side.
Still think that they're separate from each other, which is the dumbest thing ever.
And I want to mirror everything. I love to work with mirroring. So, modifier properties.
Then that's going to increase geopolitical
add modifier.
conflict. So countries.
Mirror. This is nice. As long as the middle vertices are
like
close to the middle, it will understand the clip.
And like the
Okay.
culture and be
Face
like,
select.
hey, it's beautiful.
Face,
like,
face.
We love
Let's make some legs.
celebration of your traditions,
Beautiful legs.
but you're
There.
just not separate from the
Let's make
rest
some
of
arm.
Earth.
Arm.
Everything on Earth is one.
Arm. Very simple.
So it's all layered.
I will scale
like
this. I will move this. Scale again on X.
So
Move.
you'll have these scenes
I can paint in some eyes.
but they're all
I won't
capitalized,
unwrap.
they're
It's
all
just for fun. I will paint in.
just like you'll have these
Black.
independent
Can I do control?
scenes
Oh
in
yeah, do
different
control.
countries, but they're all Gaia.
Good.
They're
This is
all the
this is art.
planet's energy. Waking up to this.
From here. Anyway, just for fun. Okay. Very important. Every time you edit a texture, it doesn't save automatically. If I quit Blender right now, the texture is not saved. So on UV editing, or wherever is either with Paint, Image Editor, or UV Editor, those two windows. So this one, as long as you see a texture here, you can do Image, Save All Image. Very simple. Or you can click here on the Save, or you can do Alt S. Forgot. The picture is saved. Only the Blender version. So when you will export, you have to update it too. Okay, now we have avatar, we need armature. So let's create armature. Okay, so
They're like 10 years old right now.
armature, single bone. Okay, this will be the hips.
What are they using to wake up?
Good. I go on. I will go on. I have the armature select. I go here. Object data
Let's
properties.
say that the 10-year-olds,
Hidden avatar.
10 years from now,
Viewport. Editing. In front. Now you see the bone is in front of everything. Good. So this is the hips. The base is here. The top is here. This is normal. So since it's the hips,
what do you feel like they're using as the tools? Are they still using
let me think.
TikTok? Are they using
It's been a long time since I did
using
hips.
virtual reality?
I think
Are
I
they
need
using-
to do
how
my
are they
legs like
deconstructing their
this.
identity?
We absolutely need
How are
feet,
they
by the way.
deconditioning themselves?
And I can delete this one.
How are they finding the spiritual
Good.
communities?
Okay. A little tutorial for bones, very fast. Always call your bones with L, dot L when it's left. Every bone that are, oh my god, I forgot. No, this is armature bone.
Still a huge component, like to be connected and to have the possibility.
Never mind the name. I will just put dot L because it's left. This one too. Dot L. Good. This is for symmetry. The middle bone are not like right or left, so that we don't name. Okay, I think we have 1, 2. I'm not sure.
Being more
Let's see
reflective of
that.
one another, like really
Shoulders.
mirror-like. I see this
I will delete this one
we
because the
have
shoulders
people
should always
especially,
start
to
never on the
be
middle.
able to say honestly, like, okay, I perceive you that way.
Like
and
this.
you could,
I think we need
like,
hand
change
too.
that and not
So
take
I have
it
to
personally.
rename
So
this
there are a lot of factors playing in.
dot
Also the
L.
educational
If you do everything right, you do dot R.
Yeah,
This is
it's so
for
multidimensional
helping the
and
symmetry
there are so many
technique.
factors to this. I just see the acceleration and the growth. And
I
the
may
perfection and all.
redo this part of the tutorial later, because it's very important. So neck, head.
Also,
Good.
another point that came
Okay,
out
so
before,
I will do A
like how the
and
acceleration
F3.
can be really rapid. For example,
Symmetrize.
like an individual
Symmetrize,
that
I
has a
understood that
company
those
and
one
that
are
has
not
more
to be
influence.
symmetrized. Yes,
And if someone like this
because it's
awakens,
middle.
then
And
the-
those one have
like
dot
the-
L, so equate dot R. It's
the
all
spelling of
intelligent.
truth and the spelling of
Okay,
information
so very
will also
fast.
really
I
accelerate.
select the
You have
armature.
an
No, I select the
example of,
mesh,
like,
then the
a
armature
German
with
CEO
shit.
with a huge fitness company.
I
And he
do.
took
Oh yeah,
psychedelics
F3,
a few times,
armor,
and he had this realization of
armature
oh,
defined.
everything is one.
And normally I don't do
he
this.
just changed
It's
his
just because it's a
complete
test.
company
I do
that he
with
turned vegan, for
automatic
example.
weight.
And his company is going conscious, and I see this more and more. And this will have so huge
Okay,
impact.
then
like,
it should be rig.
even if they, like other CEOs,
Let's
see,
try-
okay,
let's test it.
he's more happy now.
Pose
His
mode.
company is also running
said
better
pose mode.
because it will be more and more requests, like conscious companies
Yeah, it worked.
will be more and
Good.
more requests.
Oh my god, it's
So
horrible.
this is all,
It was just for
like,
the test.
influencing each
So
other, and
I
I
select.
see- I
Okay,
just see so
now
much of
let me explain you how to export an avatar without any rotation, any scaling. So very strangely.
Even just a simple
Right now, just be sure everything is reset. F3, apply Alt Transform. So now the scaling is 1, and here on Object Properties, location 0 for everything, rotation 0 for everything, scale 1 for everything. So this should be exactly as it is in what size is this? Oh, it's too small, sorry. Let's make it 1.7 meter approximately, like a Newman. So 1 cube and something like this. So again, F3, apply Alt Transform. Sorry for that. So location 0, also rotation 0, scale 1.
What's your prediction? Like, what
same for that. Oh, I don't have 2 feet. That's my fault. I forget to put that L on the other. So I go here, bone, dot L. That's horrible. Dot L. Dot L.
I see
F3. Symmetrize.
the Pixar
Good.
style.
And do you bet that this feet is attached to nothing with paint?
For Awakening.
Yeah, it's
like
horrible.
Soul, except
Let's do
like
just
next
something
levels.
randomly. Don't really
So
care,
that
to be
being
honest.
big, as a tool.
Okay, it's in fine. Okay, so oops, too fast for that. Return to the mutons. Oh my god, I'm not even sure it's an expression in English.
I see like
Okay,
a VR pedagogy
now
where you just
the biggest
tap
problem
in
with
and it
avatars
basically
is
shows
this.
you all the different
To be
layers
sure,
and
the
conditions
armature
that
rotation will be 0 in Unity.
all of the-
You
what
have to
created as
pre-rotate.
identity and self and
You press
separation.
1. Sorry, you press 3.
And then it
You
shows
see
you
the
how to
green axis
recognize
here, the
very
blue one
simply
here.
true
You
capital
rotate in this
self,
direction 90 degrees.
self-realization, God
Very
realization,
important.
and how you're dancing with
F3.
yourself on this collective and as the universe.
Apply rotation. Now you manually do minus 90. Okay, so if I click on the skin,
Yeah, I'd say
everything
those
is
two are probably the most
0, 0,
common.
0, minus 90, 1, 1, 1. Should be same
And then,
for
I would
the
also say
bones.
entheogens as well, so I think
0,
more
0,
people
0,
are gonna start
90,
doing magic mushrooms,
1, 1, 1.
LSD.
The skin have reverse, it's to compensate. So this, so if I do a click on the
And, all that those things are doing
armature,
is they're just decentralizing your
and I go control
So
Alt
where
R,
you've had
it will reset.
a tight
So this is the default position.
neurological
Control Z.
sense of self that's located behind the eyes.
I'm not sure for
All
the
that magic
skin.
mushrooms are
Let's
just
try
like
this. I'm not sure
psychedelics that
100%.
these are doing is
So
they're just showing
I select
you
everything. File.
That tight sense of
Export.
self is an illusion. That tight sense of self is just something
FBX.
that you've turned into a
I'm
constructed,
still on Sunday
ossified
stream.
pattern over the last couple of decades of
Okay,
your life.
now this configuration will be
And
different.
instead,
Somnium,
is liberate
let's
yourself
use
from that
this one.
contracted
So
sense of
I don't
identity
apply
to
transform.
the entire universe.
I still have FBX unique scale, amateur mesh, select object.
God, infinity dancing with yourself.
I update my texture, so I will do again automatic. No, sorry, copy. I want the
So-
folder. Back animation, look like this. Armature, I don't think I change anything here.
I also see.
Yeah, it's just I never apply transform to an avatar. Use the technique I showed.
Like,
Think
awakened
FBX unit
communities and
scale,
influencers,
correct
I
the
see that
scaling.
being a big part of
So
this as well. So like all of the Shambhalas that we're building, like with No Limit Society, also all of the influencers that are sort of waking up and wondering like, why is none of this making me happy? And then they start making music and videos around their own awakening experiences and then sharing that with their millions of followers. So that's another exciting one. Yeah, that's what I would summarize it as.
Yeah, also psychedelics are like for me one of the biggest factors, like because they have such a huge potential, and the risk can be really minimalized. For example, if there's a good fitter like us who knows like what they are going through and who can just hold the space of love and acceptance and just be there present with them, and because it's self-created and they can tune into that space, then the truth will get more and more in that direction, and it's just so powerful. That's one of the things I'm really excited for. Like, I would love to explore more in this direction.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree that one of the biggest tools for the acceleration of spirituality will be entheogens. And, you know, Fabian, this is probably a good place to also mention to you, the reason why we use entheogen instead of psychedelic is psychedelic means mind manifesting, but entheogen means unleashing God or the divine within.
Like my definition for psychedelics is revealing the soul. Like, at least that's the Greek translation that I know. So I think both are great ones.
Cool. I like that. So if definition of psychedelic is revealing the soul, then I like that too. That's good. And then I do really like still that entheogen, right?
Yeah.
Entheogen, right? Inside God generating, right? You really awaken to God within. Very good. I see that being huge also. There's so much centralization of consciousness in this collective. It's so cute. Like with all of these contracted senses of identity, like behind the eyes and like and all of the suffering that causes because we see ourselves as separate. It's been really fun waking up to this. Do you feel like you consistently feel self with itself, God with itself, consciousness with itself? Do you feel like you're abiding in your awakening already at age 20?
It's hard to me, like, there comes the question of what is like the definitions of self-realization, for example. Because it's obvious to me that there is only oneness and that there is no separation. And when I look at this meet-cute, like, it's not more me, like there's no duality here, there's like the other two here. And me speaking, quote unquote, is exactly the same as you speaking from me, and I can tune into this realization.
Nice.
But yeah, there are definitely like little things that can put me off sometimes, but it's so obvious because when I get defensive or when I get triggered, like I notice immediately because it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell that that's the emotional guidance system bringing you back to abidance or remembrance of self. Nice, that's cool. Yeah, you even like quite eloquently speak about your realization, which is great.
Yeah, I would love if you pointed in this direction because the trajectory, like where it is going, is really interesting for me, and I consider you to be more enlightened, you could say. So can you talk about it, like where's the trajectory of awakening going, and when do you know that you are there, or whatever you tell me you want to use?
Well,
I can't read it.
I'll walk us through it. So in the top left corner you see the standard perception, which is that my sense of self is located behind my eyes, and that I have these thoughts, and that I have these emotions, and I have this attention that is directed outward at an objective world. So one of the first shifts in awakening is to the top right corner, which is to the witness, identifying as that which is aware of things. So then it's like a background. It's like you become aware of the screen. You've heard that analogy, right? The screen and the modulations, or the paper and the writing on the paper, right? Stuff like that, right?
Yes,
so some people say that this is like realization. You know, I did too for a little bit until things opened up more for me. And then you shift into big mind, which is right below that. It's identifying with everything. So like your sense of self becomes more and more clearly everything. So basically the subject-object duality collapses. So whereas like in the previous stage there was awareness of objects, or awareness of modulations of sensation, let's say. Now there's subject-object duality has just collapsed completely. And then you shift into the bottom left corner, which is more of a sense of no self, no felt sense of I in any part of experience. This is where you could say that the sense of self, the lowercase s sense of self,
Oh wow, Joe, I forgot you existed, bro.
has been so seen through that this is sort of the beginnings of the field recognition, like everything being energy modulated, everything being energy in flux or energy dancing, and you being that, and not being a separate sense of self, or even being the capital S God self. So meaning like the third stage and the fourth stage here are very much like capital S self and no self are like two sides of the same coin. When you realize that there's no self, you realize the capital S self, but then there's a deepening of that where you begin recognizing that it's also, you know, like this is it talking to itself, but then that becomes your like lived experience of it with itself, but without a center, like it just being energy with itself. And that's where this no self and no center, attention without direction come in, because you're not directing your attention at all anymore, but it's just without direction. Like it just feels more and more like a natural state of existence without a center. So this is what you could say are some of the visualizations of the breakdown of the awakening journey. Do you have any thoughts about it?
I mean, I can't see it that straight. For me, it's because I'm not sure where this all is leading, and for me it's hard to like make the switch, for example, to Bentinho's terms, like to this, because Bentinho is like, for example, making a clear distinction still for like the absolute, and I, for example, don't see the absolute in this. Yeah. But can you switch this like to the terms of how Bentinho describes the whole awakening process? Would that be possible for you?
Well, the absolute is the infinite reality prior to this universe. This universe is made of awareness, love, light, or Sat Chit Ananda. This is both the absolute talking to itself, but the absolute is also the infinite reality beyond this universe. Was that helpful?
Yeah, I get it like from Bentinho's view, but I just can't switch like the two examples. Like, for example, this is more like Frank Yang style, I would say. And for me, it's hard to make the bridge between, for example, a Frank Yang and a Ventinho. That's still like a thing. I don't see that they are fully like matching. That's something that I am currently, like, that's my stage. And I'm open because I don't know where it leads, and I won't like finalize myself to say, oh, that's the end or whatever. So I'm curious. Did you already have like a full pop-out experience into the absolute?
Yeah, I would say grokking it. Yeah. And I would also say what you say about the blend between Ben and Frank. There's a lot of similarity, but there is some difference, and then I'm doing my best to sort of synthesize those as well. So I don't really see them as that much different, and I think that that's probably been my biggest like positive trait of my expression has been the fact that I find the similarities or the synthesis between things, and yeah, I mean, it's only going to get more and more clean, like in terms of the synthesis of the two, and being able to like visualize. This is really hard. It's like on a 2D sheet of paper, you know. And I'm talking about bringing this into virtual reality and turning it into a pedagogy, and then blending this. You know, Andrew Houston has also talked about like what Bentinho talked about and what several other spiritual teachers talk about as being like a triple layered, like a source style awareness. So you have the human, you have awareness, and you have source. It's like a triple layer, and you have to basically blend that with this like decentralization of consciousness. You have to blend it with self-realization. You have to blend it with no self. Blend it with divine love, which is the fabric of existence. So there's an emotional aspect to the what isness. Then there's also the blending with the cleanup work in purification. There's a blending of that with the Imagineering, like the Walt Disney style, like symbols, archetypes, like choosing your absolute highest expression, Shambhala, whatever your main superhero character is, and feeling more and more of that every day through vibration. So there's a blending of all of those that we'll be putting into pedagogy, for sure. You see there's a lot of components, right?
Yeah, totally.
But they're not different. They are and they're not, right? They all point to the same thing and like refining the same thing, but they are like different sides of the mountain. Did that resonate?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Like, I also see the similarities, but there's still like some, for example, Frank clearly makes like source and no source. For him, it's like really all the same. And for example, Bentinho is like, okay, awareness is the first portion of the absolute. And he is still like the absolute is more, you could say absolute, it's more permanent, it's more real. That's for example a main like distinction that I get out of him.
Well, you'll also hear Ben talk about the simultaneity of how the absolute is both beyond awareness, and the absolute is also this. And that's the simultaneity, that's non-duality, that's, you know, so they both do point to that, you know, that same thing at the same time. I think that's a key, is to realize that this is the absolute dancing with itself, and yet also at the same time, the absolute is the infinite reality beyond even this universe, right? It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, like the intellectual framework is totally clear to me. So, but it's still, for example, I wouldn't say that I can sense the absolute. For me, in my experience, it feels like there is, you could say, a void or whatever. It's like, it's intuition, like, I mean, it's not behind my head because I see that's just a container, that's just an assumption. But there, it feels like a void in infinite reality. I just can't describe it. So, do you think I'm sensing the absolute?
Yeah, just keep tuning into what you're feeling. Keep going. Yeah, it's beautiful. Like that's your lifeline, you know, to the creator. Is your impulse for truth. So, as you dive into that more and more, you'll gain more clarity about what you're realizing, about what you're experiencing, about how that relates to the different spiritual traditions and the different spiritual teachers that you follow, that type of thing.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the clarification. It really helps.
Nice, bro. Cool. Nice. This has been fun, Fabian.
Totally.
Thanks for coming on the show. Do you have any other thoughts that you want to close with?
It feels complete to me.
Cool. Yeah, that's really, really good. This was fun together. Maybe we'll have a chance in a couple weeks or whatnot to chat about XRP soon.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm not going to talk because I don't know how I'm going to be when I go up and chill out. We went to Starbucks because he wanted a coffee.
Yeah, and also just fun getting
yeah, it was with us. Me and Izzy are standing not by the cashier, but like a little more away to get some other cups of Starbucks and stuff like that. And when he orders it,
yeah, that's what I love about MLS, like connecting to like-minded people, like-minded stuff. There's immediately like a connection because you can feel it.
Then he goes to the supermarket.
You can feel
right? I bought stuff here so I can cook it. So I bought 2 packs of chicken right now so I can cook now, right? So he goes, you know what, I should buy myself a pack of chicken wings because I'm going home and it's too much money spending out already. So I might as well just buy the chicken wings and cook them at home. I said, yeah, that's a good idea, Gabriel. So we all go together, and Elizabeth put first, so she put my chicken and the salad. As long as Elizabeth, I'm paying for that. So I'm paying for that, Elizabeth. Thank you.
So much love. Fabian, thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Sweet. I'll end the show and then you and I can stay in the studio, okay?
It happens. I got to my leg.
Yeah, I was banging my head or something.
Alright, go puppy. It's
cold.
It's cold. You open the door, you can feel the wind coming in right now. It's freezing. It's not even cold outside. I don't understand why. So then,
simply means
Elizabeth puts, because we put everything in one truck. Elizabeth takes out my chicken and I sandwich it up, she passes. I said, no, pass it. I'll pay for it. I said, no, I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. I'll pay for it.
The system in the body, if we have a way of monitoring that, I think the
I paid for mine,
art
but she saw that the chicken was still there. She goes, you taking that too? Chicken, more chicken? I said, I might just gave
minimum interference. When you disengage with memory, suddenly there is no past, present, and future. So there is no time. Because there is no time, there is no space.
I'm upset, seriously. It really fucking does. It really fucking pisses me off. I'm not who to talk like I said, I don't know how to do it, but I don't think I'm gonna be like that with y'all. You're working, you got a credit card, you got this.
No one has money, you will be like
that. Right? It's only right, yeah, he's 30 years old. He has his own credit cards. Come on, man.
We all know that anesthesia works, but we really don't know how it works. And can you shed some light on it? And he talked to me briefly, and then he said,
yeah,
statement which is anesthesia,
correct me if I'm wrong, because
usually
like, you know, I know my mom is struggling too.
I'm quoting you specifically.
You know, all of consciousness, you call your mother from a distance. You know, call your mother from a distance until you give me the credit card.
That's not the way we think consciousness off. And
Wait, the thing is, I'm done.
maybe I
Say that's
thought
over. I'm like,
several days
I'm
I
my business.
had
I gotta say,
people
no,
like
man.
thinking about maybe
Yeah,
it's
it's
time
my
to
business.
redefine the term consciousness
But
itself.
still, man.
And having gone through several programs with
Un chicle,
I think
vediamo
some
ciò.
glimpses here
Ma,
and there
abbiamo
to
cuore.
know that there's much more than
È demasiado, è un hombre che tiene 30 años. E tiene su proprio apartamento.
And he was young, so imagine now. So you can probably
You see?
start off telling me
Oh, that's not yours.
what we know
Well,
now
there's shirts that's
of
folded
how
on the side of the
actually
same
causes,
closet. On the side, you're going to see folded
loss of
shirts.
consciousness.
So I'll start. And so again, it's a pleasure to share
Oh,
this
there's
stage
ones that's
with
folded.
Sanguru and Nico.
It's an animal, man.
So, you know, how does anesthesia work? Actually, how many people here had anesthesia?
Oh,
great topic.
I hate that.
Right.
a lot of plants out there.
Exactly, right. All right, fantastic. So what happened to you? So, you know, how does anesthesia work? Actually, how many people here have anesthesia?
We was taught that everybody is different than you. Everybody, you know, there's people that are better than other people. You feel me? And I understand, yeah, there's people that's faster than other people. That's what it's supposed to be. Nobody's supposed to be the same. But when you don't put them in that, I'm not doing that no more, bro. I'm not putting nobody down here no more, because now I'm putting down myself. And I'm making it to where the algorithm is going to give me that from them. I'm putting everybody up here. I don't give a fuck who it is I run into. I don't care if they smoking drugs in front of me. I'ma still put them up here. So every time they talk to me, it's gonna be coming up from here. It's not gonna ever come from down here. Ever. I don't care what it is being said or what it might be. You feel me? That's the thing. That's one of the things that I learned too, bro. I'm glad that I was able to share that, and I didn't forget that. You feel me? Once you see that, once you do it, you'll understand what I'm saying. Like, take for instance, like my mom, right? Like, me and my mom, we always was standoffish, always didn't do it. But this is something that I was making happen, I feel myself, because that's the way I looked at it. Oh, I can't talk to her. Every time I talk to her, you feel me, it's always some bullshit. You feel me? It's always something. We always get into an argument. You feel me? And then it took for me to go, wait, hold on. Why am I thinking that? I can change that. I said, from now on, we just gonna have good conversations. Let me take her from down here and put her up here so I can better understand what the fuck she trying to say. And when I did that, our conversations just got better and better and better. You feel me? To where it wasn't in this lower level of understanding no more. Because I decided to take us out of that level. Despite what she was doing or what she was thinking, she don't even know this is what I'm doing.
Oh my god, can y'all stop?
Just because you're mad at me.
Alright, just relax. Tell her to relax.
I'm looking at her now like, you know, she's the teacher of me. She's the one who taught me a lot of things and showed me a lot of things. So let me put that back in her. You feel me? And get us back up to that level we need to be at. Bro, these holidays remind me of that. Yeah, it's trippy, man. Hey, always some bullshit. But just like, you know, only you can change it, bro. Like, family is the problem. Yeah, I went through that too, Regal Survival, to like the point to where I cut my family off. You feel me? Because when we're young, we get influenced by a lot of things. And it's like not that we're being influenced. We're just seeing everybody doing something. And then we look up to that person, so we try to do what they're doing. You feel me? And it might even be wrong. Which is, the thing is, just because they're doing it, you don't have to do it. You feel me? The one dude, he set around robbers and thieves. These were the people that needed him. You feel me? We'll put our family in this category down here, when all the time, all of them are up here. But once we put them down here, we tend to look at them wrong. You feel me? and we don't want to be around them. And that's what I did, and it made me separate myself from my family. But it's like, it's certain things you go through that make you pay attention and see what's going on. It made me separate myself from my family, and I'm going, oh, they all bad, they all still doing the same thing, and whoop and this and that, to where it separated me from them.
You want these magazines?
Huh?
There's a lot of recipes in them.
Just because
There's a couple of recipes.
Oh, I got a text of it though.
There's a lot of recipes in there, Rachel. I bought them. They were in the Metaverse, Elizabeth downstairs. I said, let me take them, Rachel, if you
what they was doing,
It's nice to come.
they always gave me the respect that I deserved. Just seeing how they live in their life, it made me get away from them. You feel me? When I'm the one who puts that love away. I'm the one who got rid of that love. And it took for me to have a psychedelic experience to show me that I was fucking wrong. Because despite what anybody do, why would I let what you're doing affect me? That's not your fault. That's my fault. If you doing something that I know you're not supposed to do, and I go and I help you do that or commit them actions, that's still me. That's not you. That's you just being you and doing what you do. Now me, I can just go, hey bro, I wouldn't even do that. You feel me? And go about my way. But instead, a lot of times we'll go and be like, we know this motherfucker about to do something wrong. We'll go with him. As soon as this shit happens, now you going, oh man, it's your fault. I'm sitting in prison. And it's like, no, it's not. It's your fault. You didn't have to go. That was me showing you what happens when you do this, this, and this. If you do it this way, this is going to happen. You know, that's you showing me, giving me an example, and me not listening to that example, but me trying to be the example with you. I don't have to be the example with you. I can see the example, and I can accept it, and I can go about my way and go, okay, I was right. I knew I shouldn't have went. I knew I wasn't supposed to do that. You feel me? But it's crazy, bro. You feel me? And like once I did disconnect though and create that disconnect, like, you know, you begin to start to feel lonely because now your phone is not ringing all the time. You feel me? Like when I go back to my city, like I'm disconnected myself from so many family members that when I go back to my city, I don't be wanting to see anybody. You feel me? I stopped feeling comfortable around everybody until I had that mushroom trip that reconnected me and told me, you know, you was the one, you wrong for that. You're not right for that, because even though like we see it in movies. We see it in movies like the old Spider-Man with Sandman. Remember what Sandman was doing? He was doing all these evil things, right? He was robbing banks. But everything that he was doing, he was only trying to do to provide for his family, his daughter. You feel me? Even Deadshot. You feel me? He'd go out, he murdering people and everything, but how did he treat his kid? How did he treat his daughter? To her, he was being a father. He was explaining everything that he was doing, but still, though, he was giving her the love that she needed. You feel me? And not like that's you know, that's what I'm starting to see, bro. You feel me? Nobody. But if you leave, you don't even show them other opinion.
Mom, Grandma's not in the kitchen anymore.
Huh?
Grandma's not in the kitchen anymore.
What do you mean by that?
Wash it.
Now I don't want to anymore because Jason's not there.
You know, I don't know.
But Sarah, okay, now you're doing too much. Go, you be rude the fuck.
You feel me? Now I can accept anybody for who they are. I'm not making them out to be anything bad because I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. It ain't on me to judge people for what they're doing. It's not. That's, you know, which we do. You feel me? We judge everything. We judge distance. We judge taste. We judge hearing. We judge everything, bro. Like everybody don't want to be a judge, but you are a judge. You feel me? In the same sense, you the judge and the jury. You feel me? It's weird. It's weird. But as I go further, let's see, what was I talking about? Like, I'll be having so much to talk about as sometimes. I think I just be rambling, but I don't. Because, like, I understand a lot of, like, everything I be saying. I understand everything I be saying. But I guess I just don't want to be that person, bro. I don't want to be that guru dude. I don't want to be that fucking shaman, and I don't want to be that, bro. That shit. Every time I see them, bro, I can't do nothing but laugh because they even present themselves as that. They dress as that. You feel me? It's like they take on the image of that. Only to the ones that are looking at them as that. That's the image they even start to present themselves as. And you're not going to ever see me walk around this motherfucker looking like, looking like a shaman, shit wrapped around my head, putting on like one of them, what's the names? No, bro, I'm me. I'm me here learning just like you. And a lot of things that we talk about, we build off of each other. You feel me? I don't want to be this one set person. Oh, man, feel because I'm smarter than you. No, nobody's smarter than anybody. You feel me? At all. Now, you might know more about this one topic over here. But really, a lot of these topics that we talk about, we don't even fucking gotta live with. We just do it because somebody said it was, the majority said this is what you're supposed to do. The majority. And I said, when you go and you watch videos, everybody's saying the same shit, bro. They telling you how to better your life, how to make more money. Everything that's being said is showing you how to stay trapped in this. It's showing you, if you start to pay attention, it's showing you how to stay trapped in your mindset. I'm gonna show you how to stay here longer. I'm gonna show you how to I'm gonna show you how to believe in the trap. I'm gonna show you how to believe in the illusion. You feel me? Believe in the illusion. Look, this is the illusion. Believe the illusion. You feel me? And it's like, nah, I'm cool. So I don't want to share stuff like that. I think that's what, and it's kind of messed up because a lot of people, that's what they do. They recognize that it's sheeple out there, and they take advantage of the sheeple. It's like, okay, everybody want to be sheeple, and like I'm going, nah, we all people. Like I'm part of the people. So like I open my platform for the people. You feel me? I don't want no sheep here. If you feel like you're a sheep, then go off and be a sheep. But here, you get to be who you want to be, who you are, or whatever you think you are, you feel me? And you get to share your shit with me as I'm sharing mine with you. You feel me? I don't want no fucking sheep. I don't want to be trying to lead people to this place, this non-existence place. And that's what everybody is trying to do. They want to lead everybody. They want to follow the same stories that's been played out over and over again, and they taking those stories, remastering them, and giving them to you, giving them right back to you. What you already know, here you go. You feel me? You need help. Look at you, Big Chill. You feel me? You ain't let me help fix you up because you don't know where the fuck you going. So I gotta show you where you going. If I don't show you where you going, how you gonna get there? As usual, I don't know what's going on these days, but
Hey guys, welcome to the channel where we talk about NFTs and crypto every day. Today is another important day, so I ask you to please stay till the end. And if you could get yesterday's video loaded up in your bar for next, that would be very appreciated and it would do you a world of good. There's a lot of money to be made in last video. But make sure you stay to the end and let's get right into it. Okay, OpenSea volume, we're seeing some good stuff. Nothing bad here, we're still seeing an increase. And today just started, so today's gonna be a pretty big one. On Icy Tools, we see more of the same derivatives that just make me cringe. Crypto Apes, Bored Apes, Punk Club, oh my god. Stay away from those, you guys. Keep seeing Larva Labs around. Wolves Official had a great reveal and I got a bunch of messages saying how thankful they were because of some of the traits that they sniped, and I was just blown away. Some people made some pretty good money. I'll link that video above if you guys want to see the video where I kind of went over it. Before we get into this next project, I just want to thank my patrons. We are on our 6th project. Holy crap, it is becoming so awesome. And for newer people, I do want to tell you that there's not unlimited spots, so if you're on the fence, you better get in, because it's going to be a close-knit community where everyone is insured, because it's going to be a close-knit community where you get multiple whitelists. I'm not just going to make it, oh, you might get a whitelist this month, like almost all of the other communities like that. No, I have a system in place where you are basically insured a whitelist, and the Discord is awesome. There's so much good alpha going down in there 24/7. It is crazy. Okay, let's get into this project. It is called Toadkins. Welcome to the swamp. Now, these guys over the past couple days have absolutely blown up. There's only going to be 4,444 of them, and the thing I like most is Kite and JFT. I mean, look at these guys. They have their face, they have really nice pictures. You can tell they're kind of wildlife enthusiasts. They're wearing their hiking stuff, and they just look like a couple of people that I could easily rest assured knowing that they're gonna try their best on this project. You know what I mean? They're not trying to hide their face. They're being open and honest about things, and I just want to say that that is huge for me. Honestly, really huge. So if you guys haven't already, please go hop into their Discord, and if you're a patron of mine, go look in the announcement section because you'll see something to do with this project there. So their pre-launch, they did a really cool thing with their Lily Pass, and by the way, I love the art. This art is super calming to me, and I really like the colors that are going on here. But anyways, their Lily Pass is an exclusive VIP membership with a supply of 200 that would allow us to mint 3 Toadkins at 0.02 each, and be entered into a raffle where 25 individual Lily Pass holders would have the chance to receive 5% of Toadkins' total mint sales. So you can tell already, sadly that's passed, but you can tell that they are not afraid to give back in a huge way to their community. Reading that, blew me away, because you don't see stuff like that with, I mean, any projects really. Everyone's so greedy these days. So already there's 2 awesome things here that I just love, and we barely started. Honestly, 3, the 4,444 Genesis codes only, like they're not doing the 10K. It's gonna be a nice exclusive community, even more so than Wolves, and I thought Wolves was like super tight knit. Phase 1 is the mint. So 8 of the 10 legendary toads will be auctioned